Hello, what is up? What's good? Welcome in to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast, Monday edition, alongside Stern Bets, Drew DeLucchi. I'm the Prince of Picks. Got a great show lined up for you guys today. As we start this week off, we've got the WNBA in action tonight. We've got Major League Baseball. We've got a few games going on in international soccer as teams are getting their final tune-ups here for the World Cup. And of course, we've got the NBA later on this week, NHL. So a lot of sports here taking place over the next several days. So we'll be sure to give you our best looks and angles for those. Before we get into that, guys, you guys can do us a quick favor. Head on over to Apple Podcast, Spotify. Give us a real quick rate, review, subscribe. Really does wonders in helping us out grow this channel. We ask you to do that every day just because it really is the only way that we're going to get this channel out to more potential listeners. We really appreciate your support with all of that. With that being said, I am once again joined by Mr. Stern Vets. Mosh, good morning. Happy Monday. How was your weekend? What's going on, brother?
Happy Monday indeed. Happy with the weather, happy with my model, happy with baseball, happy with playoffs. It's just a great time of year. Really is. It is a busy week for me. Going to be traveling a little bit, so I might be in and out. But, good baseball week. Drew, how you doing, buddy? Welcome in. Also, how was your weekend?
Yeah.
Pass on the question.
It was good overall. I had my son's birthday party this weekend, but most importantly, of course, my son's the most important. I'm saying a joke here, guys. I don't need people to, of course, get upset. But Kansas baseball, I started. I watched them because they made it to the regionals for the first time in a while. Now they just made it to the super regionals for the first time in history. They didn't just make it; they made it on the minimum. They went 3-0. If you go 3-0 in the regionals, you automatically make it to the super regionals. So shout out to the Kansas Jayhawks. They're not just a basketball school right now. They have the two-time coach of the year since he joined for the Big 12. They just beat Arkansas, the other Kansas, back-to-back games after being Northeastern. They were down 5-0 yesterday. And then they ended up winning 13-10. I love college baseball in that aspect of things. I just don't watch it during the regular season. I usually watch it around this time.
Yeah, 100%. I know that AB, Alan Bell, host and producer and man of DTL Driving the Line, is definitely all in on college baseball. I've been enjoying listening to his analysis for a few years now. Yeah, Prince, what's going on?
Yeah, not only are they're not just a basketball, so they've even improved in college football, have they not? I think they've made some strides recently, right? I mean, they used to be a bottom feeder in the conference, and
Instead of
even in college football.
winning one game, they're winning like 7 or so. So
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Marshall, hey, every little stuff, it's baby steps, right? So, to your point there, I think Kansas has started to become a more well-rounded school, maybe like a Michigan, Ohio State, those types of schools where they're good in all sports.
All right, let's kick right into it. Drew, I'm going to go to you first. I have a feeling that we're going to be on the same side of this, and I might be a little bit over leveraged, but where are we going in the MLB slate today? A little bit of a short slate, but where are we going?
Real quick, Moshe, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you mind if we recap our plays from over the weekend? I know we usually like to do that before we head into our original
100%.
plays. I'll go ahead and recap mine. So over the weekend, we did go 3-2. For the Friday plays, we hit on sorry, I just had it pulled up here and I'm sitting here. We had PSG to win the cup. Of course, they won that in a penalty shootout. We also had the Atlanta Dream minus 9.5. They covered that by about 12. I think they ended up winning around 20 points against Portland Fire. That was on Friday. We also hit the Spurs Thunder over 212.5. That hit as well, so that's 3 right there. We missed on the Mets Marlins first 5 under 4. And then we missed on Scotland. They did win against Curacao, but Curacao did score a goal. We had them at a clean sheet. Curacao was able to get 1 goal, so we missed on that, but 3-2 overall. We ended up having a winning week last week for the picks. So again, we'll see if we can carry that momentum over into this week.
Yeah, 100%. I went 1-on-1 on Friday's show. Philadelphia, Zach Wheeler gave up 3 home runs, 1 in the first inning, 1 in the second inning, and 1 in the third inning. So that didn't come through. But the Yankees absolutely demolished the A's Friday night and Friday night only. I'm not going to talk about Saturday. Actually did hit them yesterday. Sunday on my model, I went 3-1. If you guys are tuned to my Substack. Drew, how did you do from Friday's show?
I forgot. I believe I did 1 outs play. I didn't double check that.
You had Brayan Bayo under 16.5 outs.
I can actually figure that out right this instant. Yeah, because I remember I was watching that game too. I just had a lot happening this weekend. It looks like no, he did not cover necessarily. Yeah, that's what it was. I remember now. I was getting frustrated that the Guardians allowed him to go 7 innings, so that's frustrating. So yeah, that one didn't hit. That was the one play I believe I had. Yeah.
Yes, I believe that was it. All right, now Prince, do you have any soccer plays for us, real quick, live, or are we going straight into the MLB slate?
We do have a soccer play. It's kicking off at 12 p.m. Eastern. But if you guys want to get into baseball first, I mean, we can go ahead and do that. I mean, and then we can get into the soccer one after that.
Okay, sure. Drew, lead us off. Where are we going?
Yeah, so of course you guys will notice a trend. Once a certain pitcher pops up, I usually like to fade him. If like a certain pitcher I like to fade, a doesn't pop up, I'll look at the whole slate. But we saw Kyle Freeland pop up when I was like looking. I was like, oh, he's pitching today. Is this going to be 14.5? 14.5? I'm not going to take it. 15.5 I will, but not at -180. For some reason, Vegas put 17.5 for this man. And at -130, which is still really good. Guys, I think this is going to drop. This is one of those where it's basically like I think like a 95% hit rate. He's at around like 10 starts this year. This is only covered once. He hasn't covered this, I think, within his last 7 starts. This is insane value. He's been absolutely terrible. He has an 8.08 RA, extremely high hard hit rate, and he's playing Angels team who can be streaky, of course, as we all know. They'll either score a bunch of runs or they won't. But as of late, they've been scoring a lot of runs. If you look at it, in the last game, they only scored 2. The game before that, they scored 15, 5, and 7. And they're playing in a favorable hitting ballpark. As we know, in Anaheim and LA around this time, it's pretty hot as well. Ball travels well, and the dimensions are favorable because there's some short porches. So, yeah, I think this is insane value for a really bad pitcher.
Don't forget that 8 miles per hour wind blowing straight out center. Well, I guess It's not straight out, but center right, which is actually not a terrible spot for it to be blowing out. I'm also going to be attacking this play. I found this on BetMGM for -150 and felt very comfortable playing it there. I would also maybe just drop it to a half unit if you had to go to the 15.5 outs, which it looks like it's pretty much everywhere else in the market. But like Drew said, this man is a mess. He has given up only 11 home runs this year. 10 of those, however, have been in the last 5 games. And that's just a little piece that I'm going to bring for my home run sprinkle today. But yeah, I'm with you. Angels -1.5 +110 is my official play of the day. I don't mind playing this up to -105. I know the market has moved a little bit, but how can you not go with the Angels? Jose Soriano going up against Kyle Freeland. After the Rockies have had a brutal 19-6 loss to your San Francisco Giants. Now, granted, both pitchers have struggled a little bit. Both of them actually started out the season pretty well, but the levels of their drop-off is completely different. Freeland, like I said, he's given up 10 home runs in the last 5 games, 6+ runs in 4 of those last 5 outings, with pretty below average metrics, starting with a 9% barrel rate, 43% hard hit rate. His strikeout rate, which actually might do him well against an Angels club that does strike out quite a bit, 19.3%. And his walk rate's not bad at 7%, but the expected metrics are terrible. He has a 318 expected batting average, 528 expected slugging average. Nothing in his portfolio screams, I'm going to regress positively today. And then you're going to take Soriano, who, like Freeland, like I said, started the season out incredible. Well, I should say he started out the season incredible. Freeland was all right. Everything kind of looks all right. Everything but the walk rate and the barrel rate, which is a little bit high, just shows that he has a little bit of control issues. But overall, expected batting average against is 230 and expected slugging is 369. The real weapon is 33.3% whiff rate, which is, if it's on, it's on. And the Rockies ranked 25th in striking out in the season, 28th in walks. So I really see Soriano being able to use his superpower. Really, that 33.3% whiff rate is just insane to really get through Colorado, who just went through a brutal series over the weekend. And then again, I don't like Angels for the most part full game, except for here where I'm going to be picking on the Colorado bullpen. Much like last year, they actually did okay in the first few months of the season. Now, going into the 3rd, 4th month of the season, this is where their bullpen starts to get really tired. Their starting pitchers cannot go the amount of innings that this team needs in an amazing hitting environment in Colorado. And then when they go on the road, they are one of the weaker teams in the league consistently over the last 5 years. including this year on the road. Now, they are a little bit better, but right now is going to be the litmus test to see how that Colorado is going to be. And they started the season off average, ranked 15th through 18th for the most part through the whole season. In the last month, they're now 28th. Good luck. I think the Angels absolutely demolished them today. I'm right with you, Drew.
So, Stern, to put this in perspective, right? I double checked it. He does have 10 starts. His first 5 starts, Kyle Freeland has given up 8 runs. His last 5 starts, right? He's given up 30. So that tells you.
Yeah. Hey, look, like I said, 6+ runs in 4 of his last 5 outings. It's just not good. And we're going to come back to him.
And less than 5 innings for all those.
Yeah, it's not been pretty. Now, again, some of the books do expect him to bounce back positively, if he has that strikeout rate, but I just can't trust him. Prince, what do you got on the baseball slate today?
Yeah, happy to see that you guys are on this Rockies Angels game. Looks like all 3 of us are, because I am as well, as part of a 2-pick parlay here. The first leg here, I'm going to take the Angels. I'm going to take their team total over 3.5. For all the reasons you guys just said. I mean, we're going to be fading Kyle Freeland, fading the Rockies pitching staff here in Anaheim, and give me that with the Reds team total over 3.5 again, fading the Royals. Royals comes to this one 22nd in ERA, 23rd in runs allowed. So again, you got 2 suspect pitching staffs here, 2 favorable conditions here for the home teams. Give me the Reds and the Angels, both team totals over 3.5. You can get that minus 102.
Yep, I like it. The only other higher scoring game that I have between these two, I should say team total, because you have 2 of the top 3. The only other one that I would add is the Nationals, which I don't currently have a play on, but am looking to fade Sandy Alcantara. I think people are still overvaluing him when the underlying metrics don't line up. But yeah, I'm 100% with you in this Kansas City Reds game. And the Reds, I think, are a play, and I might get there, and I can tweet that out a little bit later. All right. Anything else, Drew or Prince, from the home run slate today before we get to our home run picks?
Nothing else for me.
All right, Prince. Who do you got for your home run prop for the day?
Yeah, so I'm going with another Texas Ranger. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going with the give me Sal Stewart of the Cincinnati Reds. We'll take him to hit a home run here, plus 339. He's hit several of them already this season. Again, Cincinnati, one of the better ballparks in terms of hitting home runs. On the Royals, again, just going to fade their pitching staff here. They've given up a lot of home runs throughout the season as a pitching staff. So I think Sal Stewart here is in a good position here to get some home run, 8 home run here. Kansas City ranked 23rd in home runs allowed in terms of their pitching staff. So give me Sal Stewart of the Reds, home run at plus money here, plus 335, I believe.
Nice pick. And if any of you guys are interested where we're getting these stats from, look up fan graphs. You can look at the leaderboards or team stats, and then you can filter through starting pitchers, relief pitchers, full game, anything you can think of. You can mostly get a stat or a line, including their underlying metrics, some of their expected stats. It's really a whole world out there. Drew, who do you got for your home run pick of the day?
Yeah, I have Juan Soto at plus 320 against the Mariners. Mariners actually more home runs than usual expected. I believe in the middle. Usually they're at one of the bottoms this early in the season because of the weather. But Emerson Hancock, I will say, he does give up some hard contact, but this is not about Emerson Hancock or whoever's pitching. Juan Soto's had 9 home runs in his last 15 games. He's been hot. He's been hitting for power. He's been, the thing about the Mets, good thing Soto, like a generational player, and he is, in my personal opinion, if you look at the record with him, he's absolutely insane, and he can do everything. Juan Soto plus 320.
Yeah, that man is on a tear right now. He started off the season slow, and that man is just not slowing down. He feels like he has to make up for lost time, and he is absolutely not missing the All-Star game 2 years in a row. Very upset that the Yankees let him walk. Although I will say Bellinger and the Yankees, Ben Rice, has stepped up in his stead, but do wish that Soto and Judge were batting next to each other. That was just terrifying for the other.
Yeah, got all 3.
Yeah, that was 4, all 4. My home run sprinkle is going to be Oswald Peraza.
Yeah, Judge is Judge.
Yeah. I'm going to go with an ex-Yankee, Oswald Peraza, for plus 610 in this Angels game. Like I said, top 5 home run hitting stadium, 8 miles per hour wind blowing out, facing Kyle Freeland, a left-handed pitcher, was giving up 10 home runs in the last 5 games, and all to righties, I believe. All but one of his home runs this year have been to righties. Home run odds favoring all the guys who hit better against righties than lefties. Oswald Peraza, on the other hand, fits the glove for hitting lefties much better than righties. 5 home runs in just 62 plate appearances. That cuts to a 12.4% home run hit rate against lefties. He just hit a home run Saturday. Earlier in the season, going back-to-back home runs, non-consecutive days in non-consecutive series, basically the same situation we have right here. His hard hit rate may not be that high, but his launch ankle sweet spot percentage is in the 89th percentile of the league. Freeland is exactly the type of pitcher to make a mistake, let a pitch go against an unsuspecting Peraza. I love the plus 610. Man, that made me happy to find. Oh, shoot, I don't have his name written down, but someone on my Substack was paying attention yesterday. He asked me, do I have a home run prop? And I promised him a good one today. So this one is it. Prince, any thoughts on the other home run props?
No, I love that. I think it's a super solid home run play, and I'm excited to tell all 3 of them.
Yeah, Drew, any thoughts?
No, I love it. I respect that pool.
All right, now we got soccer, 10 minutes. Prince, where are we going? Oh, and just in case I forget, I woke up today to 2 caches by you put out in your VIP channel. Thank you very much. I think it was... Oh, yeah, I'm just going to let you say what they were.
Yeah. I was going to go ahead and recap that real quick. Yeah, they're already starting off this week on the right foot. We did cash out. We had a double bang this morning. Pakistan took on Bangladesh. Those of you who have followed me for a while, you guys know I love the international slums, is what I call it. The international slums of football or soccer, if you will. That's where I make my money for the majority of it. I think you get a lot of advantageous lines between teams that the books don't really know what to do with these teams. And so we definitely cashed on that this morning. We hit Pakistan to not score a goal. This is one of the worst scoring teams in the world. We got them at plus 225 to not score. They didn't score. Then we also had Bangladesh on a double chance. It was actually their U23 team. So it wasn't even their full team. It was their U23 team. And they ended up tying the game 0-0. So that just goes to show you just how bad Pakistan is, but also just how bad both of these teams are, honestly. But we hit both those plays, minus 130 for Bangladesh, double chance. Pakistan plus 225 to not score. So we've been crushing these international plays again. This is the time of the season for me. This is Christmas in June, if you will, as we're getting into the international break, and of course the World Cup. International soccer is where I make my money here. So be sure to follow us here for sure on the podcast. Also, make sure you guys follow me over on X at Prince of Picks 10. There's a VIP channel there, guys. I'm going to go and promo it real quick. It's just $5 a month. Do it for the World Cup. Sign up for the World Cup. Pay the $5. That gives you access to every single one of my World Cup plays, including all live plays delivered in real time directly to your phone. So you don't have to go anywhere else. And you can cancel out the World Cup if you don't like it. I think you'll enjoy the investment. I think you'll find it a worthy investment, just $5. But again, it's worth a try when we're heading into what I call Christmas in June for myself. So just wanted to plug that out there real quick, guys. Hopefully you guys, if you guys are interested in the World Cup and excited as I am about it, you guys will at least give it a shot and take a look at it. But in any case, we do have another game kicking off here shortly here in about 10 minutes, 12 p.m. Eastern. Banger of a matchup, and I say that very sarcastically here. This is absolutely an international slums matchup. 2 countries that will never sniff the World Cup. We got the Maldives Islands taking on Afghanistan. Yes, Afghanistan has a soccer team. The way I'm looking at this one here, guys, I see an extremely low scoring game. I'm taking the under 2, and this one at minus 110. These teams, as bad as they are defensively, they're worse offensively. They have absolutely no strikers whatsoever, no clinical finishing, really struggle to generate chances to score. And so even though they're going to be bad defensively, I don't think they're going to be clinical enough to score goals. I will be shocked, absolutely stunned if we see 3 goals in this game. If we see 2, we push. If it's just 1 goal or 0 goals, of course we win the bet. So give me under 2 at minus 110. And then I will take a shot here at Afghanistan on a draw bet at minus 110. I think Afghanistan is just slightly, marginally better than Maldives. It's kind of apples to apples here between these 2 sides. But I've seen both of these teams play quite a bit. Of course, I do watch the Asian region quite frequently. So I've seen these teams play a lot. And it's very close, but Afghanistan, I will give them just a slight edge here on a draw no bet. We can push insurance against the draw, minus 110 for me.
I love it. And you know how much trouble I go through in our spreadsheets now that I'm trying to backfill everything and trying to figure out what league is what? I ended up just putting soccer and just
Yeah,
calling
that's
it that. And then like international basketball. It's just basketball now. You ruined my system, man.
Yeah, I know. There's so many different variations that I cover now. Yeah, that's probably just a better way to do it, honestly. But yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead. I do have two more plays tonight. Those ones are taking place, of course, this evening. We've got, let's see here. Oh, sorry, as I pull up my schedule here. All right, we got two friendlies here tonight taking place between Colombia and Costa Rica. I'm on Costa Rica here on a double chance. You're going to get them at plus 360. I think there's a couple reasons here why I like Costa Rica. One, I'm not sure what lineup Colombia's going to come out with, right? Because they are, of course, in the World Cup. And so the way I would look at this, guys, this international break, by the way, if we were to make an analogy, right? Because I know a lot of us, we got a lot of new listeners here that maybe aren't familiar with the World Cup and are familiar with how it works in soccer and all that. If I were to make an analogy to another sport, let's say an analogy to the NFL, I would say these friendlies coming up would be the equivalent of like a week 3 or a week 4 in the NFL preseason, right? And so typically that's when you see a lot of rotated sides. You see a lot of the younger guys try to get their shot, to show the coach that they can be valuable during the World Cup. And so I think with teams that are in the World Cup, these next two games, you're going to see a lot of heavily rotated sides. You're going to see massive substitutions at halftime. We just saw that with the USA yesterday. They played Senegal. They made 10 substitutions at halftime, which is absolutely unheard of. It was basically Team A and Team B. And a lot of teams are doing that here. So I say that to say that I think Colombia is a little bit overrated here in this game based on what lineup you're going to see for them. And Costa Rica on the other side, although they did not make the World Cup, this is a very quality side. And getting them a plus 360 to avoid a defeat, honestly, I think that's a little bit, how should I say, and not embarrassing, but disrespectful to Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica is better than that. And so give me Costa Rica to avoid a defeat. I think that's an excellent price here, plus 360 against possibly a rotated Colombian side. And then the other game tonight, of course, is another one here at 8 p.m. or sorry, 9 p.m. Eastern. We got Canada hosting Uzbekistan. I've been very bullish on Uzbekistan. They're probably one of my favorite sleeper teams of this World Cup in terms of where the books have them in their odds in comparison to what their skill actually is. I think the books have them way underrated in a lot of different metrics here. And I like Uzbekistan here again to avoid a defeat. I'm going to take them on a double chance at plus 115. Both Canada and Uzbekistan are very defensive-oriented teams, so I don't think we're going to see a lot of goals here. If you want to play it under, that's another way I would look at this. But I absolutely think Uzbekistan has a ton of quality as a team. We look at them individually, maybe not so much. They don't have guys playing in top European leagues, but they played together for a very long time. They've come up through the ranks together. They're all similar age. And so there's a lot of team unity within the Uzbekistan side. And so I think in this friendly, again, you might see some rotated sides. Give me Uzbekistan to avoid a defeat, double chance at plus 115.
I love betting on the underdog. And I also like these teams preparing to get into the World Cup. So when you say they're heavily rotated, are they giving other people a chance to see who they want to play in the World Cup? Like it's the same team, right?
So the rosters are set. So now, like every team has already submitted their official World Cup roster, right? But that roster consists of, I think it's about 25 players, and of course you can only play 11 at a time, right? So what's happening now is you're looking at your fringe guys, maybe you're 20 through 25, and you're giving them extended minutes to see, okay, in the event that I need, such and such player to come in, maybe to score a goal. Maybe we're down a goal, and I need this kind of player because he has this skill set, or I need a defensive player because we're trying to preserve a lead, and blah 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 blah. Right? The coaches are looking tactically to see, okay, let me throw him out there. Let's see how he does, and then come time for the World Cup, I'll have this as a reference to know, okay, can I play him or can I not? Right? So it's kind of like an additional tryout, not only to be on the roster, but to get actual impactful minutes during the World Cup games themselves. So that's what a lot of teams are doing, rotated sides, to see, okay, I know my roster, but who on this roster can I actually trust?
Got it. That makes a lot of sense to me, especially in these games going up where the stakes aren't necessarily there, but you still need to figure out your team and you only have a limited amount of games to really get there. My second question is you mentioned that there were 10 substitutions, and this is just on me because I am not as familiar with the world of soccer. But how many substitutions do you normally get in a game? Is it different in an international match versus Champions League versus World Cup? Like, how does that work? Or do you get like unlimited at halftime and then you have like 3 during the game?
So these friendlies are, I believe, they're usually agreed on between the two federations before the match. So friendlies have their own set of rules. Friendlies basically, it just depends on what the two teams agreed to beforehand. Most of the time, friendlies are unlimited substitutions for that exact reason I just said. Both teams just kind of want to see what they got in terms of their roster, so they want to have that flexibility to put out multiple substitutions and give guys a shot just to see how they do in actual game time action. As far as the official World Cup, it's 5 substitutions per match. And so it is there's a limit between when you get into the actual World Cup. It is just 5. And they also have 5-minute hydration break as well in the first half and the second half, which is something relatively new. It's kind of like coaches use it as a timeout now, which we've never had timeouts in soccer. But if you saw yesterday, it was kind of cool. U.S. had a hydration break, and they positioned the camera that was huddled right. All the U.S. players were huddled around an iPad as the coach was kind of giving them directions. It's something that you would see in like a basketball game. It was very, very unique. But we're going to see a lot more of that here in the World Cup with these hydration breaks, which are really kind of like 5-minute timeouts. But other than that, yeah, 5 substitutions per game.
That's so fascinating. Okay, yeah, I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't think it was actually 3. I also didn't know what the exact number was, but I knew it wasn't 10.
It used to be 3. And then I think I'm not sure exactly. Maybe Michael does our boots on the ground. He could probably do some research on this. I'm not sure why he changed to 5. My guess is players were probably getting injured due to fatigue. I think probably there's just a lot more maybe liability we hear with only 3 subs. I think maybe the quality of play wasn't as good. We had a lot of dead legs out there, so that could be part of the reason why they changed it to 5. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to do some research on that, but it used to be 3. But now it's 5.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Anything else in the world of soccer today, or some kind of preview for the rest of the week before we get to the WNBA? Because I think we have two games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we have 2 games in the W. No, nothing else left for me for today. We'll circle back here before the end of the show, and we'll do our World Cup play of the day later on. But yeah, no, nothing else as far as soccer today.
All right, let's get into the W.
Yeah, so the W here, as I pull up the schedule, we do have 2 games tonight. We've got the Seattle Storm, taking on the Dallas Wings, and of course the Minnesota Lynx heading down to Phoenix, taking on the Mercury. I'm going to keep this one straightforward, guys. I'll take the 2 better teams here. On the money line, give me the Lynx on the money line and the Wings on the money line. You get that plus money, plus 100. The Wings, of course, I think they're significantly better than Seattle. Of course, we've talked about Seattle before. We're expecting some major regression for them. They're 3-6 on the season, so they're not even having a good season to begin with, but we do project them to be one of the worst teams in the W. Dallas at home is a pretty elite team. They're 12-point favorites. We just want them to win on the money line, so we'll take that. And then, of course, the Minnesota Lynx, record-wise, significantly better than Phoenix. It does concern me that they're only 3.5-point favorites. I would expect it to be a little bit bigger considering the disparity between these records. But I do think Minnesota is just significantly better than Phoenix. Phoenix has been completely up and down throughout the season, more down than up. One of the worst records in the league. So I'll take the Lynx here, who seem to be on fire right now. We'll take them on the money line, the Wings on the money line. We'll keep it simple and get plus money here, plus 101.
Yep, sharp money seems to be following you. I love the play. Played it last night. Thank you for sharing that one early with me. Really, honestly, somehow, and maybe it's because I don't play a lot from a lot of people, but WNBA is one of my most profitable sports right now, next to MLB. All right, let's get to the NBA. I know we don't have a game. I want to let you have space to talk about how the Spurs and Wemby really just took control from OKC. I thought that was amazing. And how do you foresee my New York Knicks faring against San Antonio?
Yeah, so getting back to the Knicks and Thunder, I'm sorry, Knicks and Thunder, Spurs and Thunder. What an epic series, right? I think that'll go down. Maybe not as one of the best all-time series in terms of scores, because the scores were a little bit lopsided for some of them. But in terms of 2 teams that were just both heavyweight, fighters there, just haymaker after haymaker on both sides. And I think when it's all said and done, you had two storylines going on at the same time. right? What was the Thunder dynasty? Was this going to be a real thing? And then was Wemby's ascension to the top of the league? Was that going to be a thing? And it turned out, looks like Wemby's ascension to the top of the league is going to happen a little bit quicker than we all kind of expected. It's just his third season. He's already in the NBA Finals. He took down the reigning defending champions, who most people projected to be the champion again this season. Prohibitive favorites again. So look, Wemby is just an unbelievable player, and I think obviously this league is his to have for the next, at least 10 years, barring any injuries on health. And just, I mean, if he were able to just bulk up just a little bit, you don't want him to bulk up too much, because a lot of times that can lead to injuries. When you're someone as mobile as he is, it can be a little bit too much for the bottom half of his body. But if he could just get a little bit stronger, I mean, this guy, there's just nothing he can't do. And he absolutely took over in game 7. I thought Shea had a great game, by the way, bounce back game for him. So unfortunately, they weren't able to get over the line. But yeah, so Spurs, congratulations to them. Now getting back to the Spurs and Knicks here, your Knicks have a chance. Your Knicks absolutely have a chance. This is an underrated Knicks team. They've been sweeping through the Eastern Conference. Just 2 losses throughout the Eastern Conference. Those 2 losses came by 1 point each to Atlanta. So they're 1 point away in 2 games from being 12-0 in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So I know people want to poo-poo on the Eastern Conference and say it's not as strong as the Western, which is true, but they're still NBA players and they're still professionals. So for the Knicks to have the run that they're on right now cannot be overlooked. Not to mention the Knicks have an excellent roster. There were a lot of people's preseason favorite to at least go far into the playoffs. So this isn't too much of a surprise when you look at their roster, you look at who's on the team. And I think they can match up with the Spurs. Really do. I think with the Knicks, the caveat for them is, can they stay focused, right? Can they mentally stay engaged throughout the series? Because those are things that we saw throughout the regular season. They had some down times. They had some games that they lost that they shouldn't have lost. They had some underwhelming performances, and I think that kind of pushed a lot of people away from the Knicks during the season. But in this playoffs, they've been red hot. They've been on fire. Cat has been awesome. Jalen Brunson has been great. All the role players have been great. You got to expect a lot from Mikal Bridges, of course. Defensively in this series is going to be heavily relied on, whether it's taking Stephon Castle, whether it's taking Dylan Harper. He's going to be a key factor, in my opinion, for the Knicks on the defensive side. But the real question is the same question for every team. What do you do with Wemby? And so I think if Mitchell Robinson, I know he had surgery on his pinky finger, I believe. I believe reports are he's going to be okay to go in game 1. As long as he's able to stay healthy, I actually think that is the one of the few players maybe who defensively can potentially hold his own against Wemby. So I'm really interested to see how that matchup goes, Wemby against Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, one of the greater defenders in the league. And his size and his athleticism, I think he can give Wemby some problems down low on the defensive side. So yeah, I think the Knicks have a chance here. I'm actually, I mean, we're going to get into that Wednesday officially, but I'm already going to take the Knicks here in game 1. I'm going to take them at plus 4.5. I worry about the Spurs' emotional letdown here. I think it could be an emotional letdown spot. If you saw their reaction after Game 7, they looked like they won the NBA Finals. I didn't like that personally. You could tell they're a young team. They haven't been here before. And so I think it took a lot out of them to beat the Thunder, right? That was an extremely emotional series. And now 3 days later, you got to do it all over again. You got to start all over. I think that's asking a lot from a team that doesn't have that experience that you need to be able to navigate it. So I'm probably going to be on the Knicks here at plus 4.5. If you wanted to play Spurs in the first quarter, Spurs have been great in the first quarter throughout this playoff, so that could be another way you look at it. If you want to play something first quarter, probably lean more towards the Spurs. But yeah, overall here, I question their attention to detail here in game 1 and being able to overcome such an emotional series that they just came off of. So kind of like a projection here. We'll make that official on Wednesday, but that's very much what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'm a little bit nervous to give any takes related to my Knicks because I cannot separate myself from my fandom, which isn't honestly all that much compared to maybe some of the other New York teams that I really watched growing up. But definitely looking forward to watching how they take on Wemby. That's going to be a really fun.
And
That's going to be a fun little wrinkle.
And one other thing too, yeah, 100%. And the other thing too is, I think, who does Jalen Brunson defend, right? Who do they put on Jalen Brunson defensively, right? If it's De'Aaron Fox will be in for a massive series, right? Because Jalen Brunson is a traffic cone defensively, so I think that's another thing that we'll have to pay attention to see how they scheme, how the Knicks or the Spurs rather scheme offensively to try to get who they try to get on Jalen Brunson and who they try to attack Jalen Brunson with, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I really like maybe taking the Spurs first quarter. I think that's a really sharp play as well. Curious to see where the sharp money is going to end up on there. All right, World Cup story of the day. What do you got for us? Hey, Prince, you there?
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to hit you. Whoops, rookie mistake.
No problem at all. Never happens to me.
Yeah,
I don't
never
know what
happens,
you're
right?
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, we've never done that before. Whatever. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna get in my World Cup play of the day first, and then we'll get to the story of the day. So we do have your FIFA World Cup play of the day, as we are just 10 days out from the first kickoff of the World Cup. What I'm looking at here, guys, is I'm going to look at over 10 own goals at plus 125. You can get this at Bet365 over on their sports book. And the reason being for that is that there's a few things here that I think are in play. One, this is a 48 team World Cup, right? So it's the biggest World Cup in terms of the amount of teams. Before it's always been 32. So you're talking about 16 extra teams that normally wouldn't have qualified for the World Cup in previous formats. So with that being said, that means you have maybe 7 or 8 teams, I would say at minimum, who are a little bit on the lower quality side, right? Who maybe don't really fit the criteria for a World Cup quality team. And with those kind of teams, right, you tend to see more defensive mistakes. So I think that is a caveat here that is unique to this World Cup. The second thing here is there's hot weather. This is going to be one of the more hotter World Cups in terms of average temperature, because you got to keep in mind most of the World Cups are held in Europe, and Europe has a much more mild climate than we do here in the States. So you're talking about June weather here across the States is going to be hot in a lot of different places, hotter than usual. And usually when it's hot, that usually leads to defensive mistakes, mental fatigue, things like that. Usually affects on the defensive side. Your mental acuity sometimes can come in and out as you get more fatigue due to the extreme heat. So I think that also plays a role here. And number 3 here, I think set pieces are going to be a major impact here on this World Cup. Again, because of the heat, I think you're not going to see quite as much transition play because the guys just aren't going to have the energy throughout the duration of the game. If you're talking about 85, 90, 95 degree weather, they're going to be relying more on set pieces. And own goals tend to happen more frequently on set pieces rather than anything else. That's typically when you get balls bouncing around in the box, hits off a defender and goes in a goal. So historically, this has only happened one time in the World Cup. But again, very unique circumstances to this World Cup that have not applied to any other World Cup previously. So I'm going to take the over 10 here. I think we see more than 10 own goals. Again, we got some lower quality teams here that could contribute to that with the heat on the set pieces here. So give me over 10 own goals. You're going to get a plus money, plus 125 again. That was on Bet365. Before I get to my story of the day, any thoughts on that, sir?
Yeah, this price is wild to me. Wild. 10? I cannot, that just is unfathomable. To be fair, I haven't watched a World Cup from the beginning with this much interest before, so I have never been counting. But 10? I am so excited to watch this and how it plays out.
Yeah, so I would tell you, so historically, right, when you talk about the own goals, I did my research here. The World Cup 2018 had the most own goals. They had 12 own goals in that one. Your next highest of all the World Cups is 6. 6, and then the rest are like 4, 3, 2. So they don't happen too often. However, you also have to keep in mind, back in the day, like in the 60s and the 70s, there were only 24 teams in the World Cup. And before that, there was 16. Before that, there was 8. So there has never been as many teams as there are now, which obviously more teams equals more games. More teams also equals more watered down teams, I would say, right? Teams that aren't as high quality as other teams. You get more variance, right? You get better teams playing against worse teams. The disparity between the teams are going to be a little bit more as well. So historically, right, it hasn't hit other than one time. It hasn't even come close to hitting other than one time where it actually did hit. But again, I just think the circumstances are very, very unique to this World Cup. And so I'll play the over. I think there's a strong possibility with some of these minnows that are in the World Cup that they could be conceding some own goals.
Oh,
I absolutely. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I did the math. There'll be 104 matches this World Cup. So
yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. It's just a huge more variance, I would say, in matches.
You also
as opposed to previous
16. You also said 16 more teams qualify, which is interesting. I think you know how I feel about that. The fact that certain teams couldn't even make it.
Yeah.
60 more teams.
Sorry.
Anyways, go ahead.
Good point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, man,
that's embarrassing.
That hurts. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. Yeah. No, that does hurt. Yeah, maybe 2030, right?
So when I'm looking at this on ESPN, how do I track an own goal?
That's a good question.
Look at usually it'll top 10.
Yeah, that's one way. There you go. No, I mean usually it'll show like on the score sheet, it'll say like OG next to the goal. Like if you look at different apps, different different websites, whatever it is that you look at, when they show like the list of scorers, a lot of times they'll show like next to the score, like to the goal scorer, it'll say in parentheses OG. And it usually means own goal. That's the way that I personally only know how to track. I'm not really sure of like a actual can you filter it through own goals? I haven't found anything like that personally.
Okay, I'm gonna be very much. This is a really fun wrinkle. This is a really fun wrinkle to be able to play, and I really do enjoy this one. All right, what's your story of the day? What do you got for us?
All right, guys.
Wild and crazy.
Yeah, sort of wild. I'll save the more the funnier one for tomorrow. But yeah, so today, guys, we're looking at the Prince who overturned a goal, 1982. And by the way, it was not me. A different Prince, by the way. But all right, here I'm gonna read it here. In a 1982 group stage match, France was leading Kuwait 3-1 when the French team scored a fourth goal. The Kuwaiti defenders had completely stopped playing because they heard a loud whistle coming from the stands and assumed it was the referee. Furious at the goal being allowed, Prince Fahid, the president of the Kuwait Soccer Association, marched directly onto the pitch to protest. He ordered his players to leave the field unless the goal was disallowed. Shockingly, after minutes of intense arguing on the pitch, the referee actually caved to the royal pressure and officially overturned the goal. France, however, eventually won 4-1 anyway, and the referee was banned from officiating ever again. So I guess back then, if you were royalty, you could have an influence on the game.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
They're free to get their head chopped off.
Yeah, probably. It's probably like, what is this guy gonna do to me? He's a prince of Kuwait. Who knows what his what his connections are and everything. But that's just wild. You never. I mean, maybe that's the root of why you see players arguing with the refs today. Maybe it all started from this incident in 1982, and they saw, hey, you know what? If you argue enough and if you're important enough, you can get a goal overturned. So maybe that's why we see all these players arguing with the refs nowadays.
Yeah. Wow. The arguments really got to stop. Although I do like when the refs get in and then they're like, "Oh, you're going to give me guff right now? You're not even supposed to be talking to me. Yellow card."
Yeah, sometimes the refs need to not be a little bit over emotional, like kind of read the game here. Like it's an emotional game. Don't expound on it by being overly emotional yourself.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Any last thoughts from you, Prince, before we get to our question of the day, of which, Drew, you're going to be asking us, so think quick. I'm just kidding. If you don't have one, no pressure.
I have a question today if Drew does. Do you have one, Drew? Oh yeah. Sorry, man. We always keep forgetting it. Yes, I love his facts. Yes. Please hit us. What's your World Cup? Drew's World Cup fact of the day. What is it?
So the World Cup fact in 2022 World Cup, I remember this too. Smart balls made by Adidas, to where referees would wear like Apple watches, and in the ball, it didn't hinder the ball in any way, but they could track handballs, they could track offsides, they can track the ball line, and it would basically buzz because they use the cameras attached to the smart ball. It's better to play to where when a player contacts the ball, if a player contacted the ball when they were offsides, it would buzz on the referees. And I believe they're using it again. So I think that's a really cool thing.
Wow, I never knew that. I'm surprised I never heard about that. That is really cool. And I think I'm a big fan, by the way, of like using how do I say, not AI, but I guess AI, right? Automated assistants, I guess is the way I would look at it. Like I'm a huge fan of that. Anytime you can, because referees are human, right? Of course, they're not going to get everything right. So I'm a huge fan of any kind
Hard
of
in soccer too.
technology to help, right? Say that again.
Oh yeah, and it also buzz like crosses the goal line too, which is really cool. So they don't have, because
Yeah.
it's such a big event, they want to make sure they use this now for it. And it's hard to be a soccer goalie. I'm a soccer ref, of course, because the field is so big and you have limited referees.
100%.
Actually,
Yeah, I
it's
think that's
not a constantly moving sport, because you stop, you have a 30-second play clock, but soccer, you're always moving. It's the biggest field of all the sports when it comes to the constantly moving sports.
I think that is a fantastic point. I think it's a very overlooked aspect of refereeing. You talk about the NBA, right? A much shorter court, back and forth action. You got three officials right there, right? So to your point, I mean, you got one official covering a large amount of space. He's gonna miss things. So yeah, I'm all in favor of virtual assistants and stuff like that. Yeah, that's super cool. Wow, I'm interested to see how that is implicated again into this World Cup.
I cannot
yeah, I do
wait
have a
for what you
question.
bring tomorrow.
You have a question?
Go
You have a
for it.
question of the day, Drew?
Yeah, so my first part is a yes or no answer from both of you guys. Have both of you guys been out of the country before?
I was
I'll
born out of the country.
Make sure Frank. Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'll start first because
What about you, Frank?
I think Most has a lot more extensive history than I do. Mine's really quick. Yeah, we went to
So
Canada.
my main question.
Yeah, we went to Canada once when I was younger. Went to Niagara Falls and went to Toronto. I was younger. We just went there for like a little trip. Maybe it was like a weekend or like a week or something like that. Other than that, no.
Oh, okay. I ask, what was your guys' favorite memory outside of the U.S. going to a different?
So I'll go first again because like my history is not as extensive as Moshe's probably is. My kids remember I was a kid, right? I think I was like 10 years old when we did this. So all the memories I have is from a 10-year-old perspective. But I remember this is gonna sound stupid, but I remembered like we were shopping at a mall or something, and they were playing music and it was like uncensored, and I thought that was like so cool back then because I was like, oh my god, they're actually playing music with like swear words. And as a 10-year-old, I thought that was like rebellious. And I thought like I don't know if that's a thing with Canada, if they have like censorship or not. I actually don't even know. I just remember like thinking like, whoa, this is what Canada is. Wow, they play uncensored music here. That's so cool. But other than that, like I mean, the Niagara Falls was definitely an experience. I'll never forget that. Um, I really like Toronto. We went to Toronto again. I'm trying to remember things as a child, but Toronto was just really. It was a very pretty city. I would say. Like I really liked. It was relatively clean when I was there. You got to do this back in like in the probably in the '90s. It was clean. The people were friendly. I really enjoyed myself as a child in Canada when I went there. But
Uh,
Moshe, I'm sure you've been around the world. I'm thinking you have. You correct me if I'm wrong, but my implications are that you have. What are some of your experiences?
yeah, I traveled to all over throughout high school. Starting in 11th grade, I went to France, Italy, Rome, lot of different places in the countryside. I would have to say from that time period, probably like the countryside of Italy is unbelievable. Tuscany region is otherworldly. The rolling hills there is gorgeous. Went to like a small winery where they made us dinner, fresh made pasta, homemade pasta. I don't know if it's homemade exactly, but it was, unbelievable experience. As I got older, I continued to backpack around Europe. I would say Eastern Europe was probably my favorite journeys. I really enjoyed going through Budapest and Prague and a lot of different cities out there. Going through Slovakia was very interesting. I also liked Western Europe. I don't know. I think getting outside of yourself and seeing how other people live and having conversations really broadens your horizons and understands that most people are just trying to make it through the day and provide for their families. They're not as crazy as the world is telling you, one way or the other. I think there's a lot of good people out there, and being able to travel and experience other people's opinions, even if you don't agree with them, is very important. And then just seeing different cultures kind of opens your mind to what possibly is more important than what you had been valuing in your life up until then. So maybe that was a bit too much of an answer, but I traveled all over. I can't really say my favorite story right now on air.
All right, tell us privately later. now I'm super curious.
I had quite the crazy, I think it was 21st or 22nd birthday in Budapest. Maybe it was Prague and Budapest combined. I think I traveled in the middle of the night. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend going to travel. I think it's one of the best experiences you can have. Drew, what about you?
Yeah, of course I won't say I'm not gonna say like of course like Rome, going to Rome, seeing my where my ancestors were, seeing the Roman Colosseum was the most surreal thing ever. But to me, I would say besides that, I'm gonna say Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica my freshman year, like especially in California at high school. They had trips you can like help pay for where you can go with your Spanish. It was supposed to go to Spain, but the euro was too strong by the time. This was on, I think, 2010, my freshman year of high school, and they decided to cancel that in Costa Rica, and my parents let me go. I was like, I would say it was the most surreal experience overall, in terms of not like Italy, like necessarily seeing like historic monuments, but seeing a different culture be so happy, not minding to be in poverty, and it just made me appreciate life more. Kids, that they would play with this like ball that was like they by themselves. You would see people across the road. They call it one of the happiest countries across the road. Living on the street, just smiling all the time. They're offering stuff to us. They're making stuff for other people. And I would say it was just cool. I went ziplining there, horseback riding. I will say it was very unsafe my first time going ziplining. They had us do all the stuff ourselves, and we were like 100 feet in the air and stuff. And then when I went horseback riding, we would just do it by ourselves. And I realized here in America, I was like, oh, okay, that was probably unsafe. And why ride fun? But I would say the craziest memory about that, talking about World Cup, is when we were flying back, the World Cup was happening. And then the plane was delayed. There was a 5-hour layover. And I remember it was to watch the whole World Cup. And it was just like a weird coincidence that the plane ride was delayed. Like we had a layover in the the plane by 5 hours because we had to fly to I think it was Nicaragua. No, I forgot what country it was. We had to fly to a different country, and we had to lay over there before we flew back to California. So I thought it was really cool to be able to watch the World Cup in the airport, and you see everybody celebrating. It was like another country in South America or Central America that was a big like soccer place, and people were all rooting for Spain because a lot of people from there were rooting for Spain over Netherlands. So it went to extra time. I'll never forget that.
That's a lot of fun. That's awesome.
2010 World Cup, South Africa. Were you in Honduras or Panama?
It might have been Nicaragua.
Okay, Nicaragua. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it might have been Nicaragua. Because there wasn't a direct flight towards Costa Rica to there. I think there was a country that you had to fly to first that was like a hub where it can go anywhere, and I think it was Nicaragua. So
gotcha. Yeah, they're crazy about soccer. They're all of Central America is really, but yeah, cool. Wow, that's a cool story.
So I will say on a much lower level, and then I have a piece of news that just broke live on air here. Dallas Cowboys, I can't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago. They made it to the playoffs, and I was traveling from Dallas that Sunday, and that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And they got their butts kicked. I didn't feel bad about that at all. But the pregame for that one, the whole airport was on fire. I mean, electricity. It was fun. It was exciting, and maybe not to the same level as a country that grew up worshiping soccer, but I mean, Texas and football is pretty close to the American equivalent. Real quick, Odin Beckham Jr. is coming back to the New York Giants. I can't believe that I'm reading that news.
That's awesome.
I just saw that. Your thoughts, Turn, as our Giants fan.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh,
Sorry, I agree.
which
Go ahead.
which OBJ are we gonna get? Are we gonna get a veteran who's interested in teaching his experience, which is extensive, to the younger players who desperately need it? Malik Neighbors, is he going to be able to get along with OBJ? Is he going to teach him all that he knows? Or are we going to get like selfish, self-centered OBJ who's looking to make a splash for himself and could be detrimental to the team because he's old? Plain and simple. Like, I mean, that's the fact of it. But in saying that, he could be a great decoy. And if he's willing to take a smaller role in the offense, I think he could still be valuable. We saw it, right? We saw it just 2 years ago, last year, running up into the playoffs. He could be a good, decent role player if he doesn't think that he can do too much. That's kind of my take on it. How about you, Prince?
Yeah, so I think two things here, right? One, can he compress his ego and his pride enough to play an advisory role, right? Because I think, to your point, that's where he's going to be the most successful. He doesn't have the same physicality, he doesn't have the same skill sets as he did in his prime. So is he going to be able to do that mentally? Is he going to be able to assess where he's at in his career, and understand what his role is and accept that role, right? And I think going back to the Giants in doing that might be more difficult for him because of how much success he had in New York. He might think that he's still that player. He's going to see a lot of maybe the same people who were there years ago, and same training staff and facilities and all that, and maybe he'll in his mind think that he's still that guy. So I do worry about that part of it. But to your point, if he's able to play the advisory role, of course, he's Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, who better to learn from? He's had a ton of success in the NFL, and I think he would be a great addition to any team as long as he's willing to fit in with the locker room, like he seemed to do that in LA with the Rams. So if he can do that with the Giants, then yeah, I'd say it's worth a flyer here. It could be a positive addition, but I think there's a lot of variables with it, though.
Yeah, that's wild. It is fun. It definitely
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
it's definitely bringing some attention, and I don't know if it's all negative. So I guess that's a good thing overall, right?
Yeah, we'll see. We don't know. It just happened. We don't know. We don't know what kind of role he's going to play, what they're going to ask him to do, right? So I think there's a lot more still to be determined.
Drew, any thoughts? Oh, and you know what's interesting before Drew, you speak? I'm pretty. Wait, didn't he play for Baltimore too? For Harbaugh?
Yes, he
I
did.
think he did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he
One
did.
season, right? So that's very interesting.
He's been a vet presence since his Brown days. He's been a really good character from what I've seen. Especially he helped Cooper Kupp with a lot of stuff with the Rams and stuff. And like I know McVay said nothing but good things about him and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's so interesting. And Harbaugh worked with him and then obviously vouched for him and brought him over. So that is also a good sign. But yeah, what are your thoughts? I mean, I guess you just gave them. It's a positive, but what else you got?
Yeah, that's my positive thoughts. I actually have to get going here in a second. So I would say that's my main thoughts about him. I think he's going to be good and not a cancer. Yeah.
All right. What are your best plays of the day? We can get on out of here. We have gone the full hour.
Kyle Freeland under 7.5 outs on -130 and sprinkle Juan Soto home run at +320.
All right. I am on the Angels -1.5. My home run sprinkle, Oswald Peraza for the LA Angels +610. Prince, who do you got?
So for me, guys, we're looking at Costa Rica on a double chance taking on Colombia, plus 360 for that. I'm also going to take Uzbekistan on a double chance taking on Canada. We get plus 115 for that. In the W, give me the Lynx and the Wings, both on the money line at plus 101. In baseball, I'll take the Angels, team total over 3.5. Cincinnati Reds, team total over 3.5. Comes in around minus 102. We're going to sprinkle Sal Stewart of the Reds to hit a home run here at plus 339. And then your FIFA World Cup play today, I'm looking at over 10 own goals in this entire tournament. You can get that at plus 125 over on Bet365. That's going to do for us today, guys. This has been your Monday edition of the OnlyBets Sports Podcast with Stern Bet, Drew Lucky. I'm the Prince of Picks. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We'll be back in tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, live on X at OnlyBets Podcast, Monday through Friday. Hope to see you guys there. Let's cash out these tickets, and we will talk to you all tomorrow. Thanks.